jumping right into food portion of Fitbit KPIs. So one thing that I am tracking, right, are my calories and my sodium intake. I will add the macros, right, the fats, carbs, and protein, right. So the sodium here is captured. It is pretty high, I will admit. I recently did increase the amount of sodium that I put on my protein, right? So I'll get into that, but I did want to mark this down because I'm actually getting a single source of this 1980, which may be a problem, right? You want to get I've had a chance to speak with actual medical professionals and doctors, and no one can ever give me a maximum. They always tell me that a 1500 minimum is good, right? My assumption is as close as possible to 1500 is good based on that input, but yeah, it is what it is. Just exploring other elements. So for breakfast, I actually ended up not eating or going to the Ralph's or to the grocery store for my banana. I actually just I loaded up on protein shake, right? So this was literally the first thing I ate before I went out to the grocery store. Sorry, yeah, actually, so I went to the grocery store to get bananas, but I didn't go to the grocery store and eat any of those bananas, right? I just did what I needed to do, and I pretty much substituted a little. You can say substitute, but I did have quite a bit of protein powder. This is actually the brand called Naked. So I had 3 servings. I should have edited this, but I actually did edit this, as a matter of fact. But for some reason, some of the changes are not updated. Like I updated the spelling of this. I updated the there's another thing here. I updated the chia seeds, right? Like the chia, it's not supposed to say this, right? It's supposed to be seed, right? So that everything here is capturing my calorie intake. So 230, I had that in the morning. Then I had the pea protein, right? I had 3 servings of that, which is about 160 in calories. By the way, I will have a completely different product, I want to say, not on tomorrow's video, but it will be on the day after tomorrow's video. So basically, it will be going over I guess, Thursday results, or I guess Wednesday, because today I will actually have perhaps 1 or 2 more servings of this. Let's try this thing here. So I will have 1 or 2 more servings of this, and the other let me see. Yeah, I'm just thinking. No, it'll be 1 or 2 more scoops more than likely, and then once that's done, I'll just dip into another protein powder. It's a pea protein powder that I'm using. It's 0 added sugar. I'm trying to get down to as much or as least added sugar as possible. And so I do recall that, in one of my earlier videos, I did mention how I got rid of the sort of sauce that I was using on my protein that had quite a bit of added sugar and sodium, right? And so by getting rid of that, I actually slashed out quite a bit of sodium as well as added sugar. And so this contains, I believe, 3 grams of added sugar per 2 scoops or per serving. So this is essentially 18 grams of added sugar. And so once this is eliminated, it'll be 0. I will literally have 0 grams of added sugar, and the only sugar sources I'll have are from natural sources. So I'm looking forward to that. Really excited about that. And so also had black kale. I generally have black kale every single day. So I'm actually having a little bit more. I used to just eye it but I started measuring the kale that I consume, and I noticed that whenever I'm eating 100 grams, I usually run out of black kale, like maybe I want to say on the sixth day. Yeah, so this is something I'm looking forward to measuring, and yeah, I mean, I'll get anywhere between 2 and 3 bushes. I got, or 2 or 3 bushes or whatever, but I got, I don't even know what the actual unit is. Bushes, bushels, um, so clumps, I don't know. So so this past Sunday, I actually got 3 of these, and so my hopes are that I have enough to go into Sunday, because that's what I do here, right? I buy, my apples from there as well, and I get 7 of these. See, here's the thing too, it's not supposed to say bar. I updated this to, what is it, serving, right? I updated this as well to tablespoon, just like chia seeds. So anyways, that should be updated. That should be updated in the, the next video. Yeah, 200 grams of soy curls. That's my primary source of protein throughout the week. In fact, it is my only source of, dietary protein other than the protein powders. Right, the protein powders are even not. They're not primary. They're supplements, right? So I get 600 calories there, and it's this. This is liquid aminos. So I have 3 tablespoons of this yesterday. I generally have 2. This past weekend, I added another just to make the meal taste a bit better, but as a consequence, I am getting a lot of sodium here, and that's why I logged it down. It is relatively high, so I may end up changing this and going back down to 2 tablespoons, or perhaps something in the middle where maybe I have 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons, right? Which is not necessarily half. That's like 1 teaspoon is 1/3 of a tablespoon. So basically anywhere between 1/3 and 2/3 of a tablespoon instead of maybe 1/3 full tablespoon. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm pretty much reacting to things based on how my body is reacting to it, and so far, my body has not had a negative response. Didn't have a negative response yesterday after eating this. I felt very clear-headed, felt really good. So this is just something that I included. It's the only thing that I included that is not only calories, right? It's the only item here, because I don't want to keep an eye out on this, and so I will be doing that, in the future. Quinoa, 1 cup there. That's my rice replacement. I'll try to minimize my exposure to brown rice due to arsenic and stuff like that. But I do buy the basmati brown rice, and I eat that on the weekends. But this is my Monday through Friday sort of starch. I mean, it's technically not considered a starch, or I don't know. It's weird. Google it. Really good stuff. Eggplant had 129 grams of that. So I usually just slice an eggplant in visible thirds. So 32 calories from that. Notice here that I'm trying to get as much of a rainbow as possible, right? So we have red, black, brown, green. I guess I'm not entirely sure what this would be, but I guess white. And then quinoa, right? This is white, purple, right? / blue. Good stuff. And then as an afternoon snack, en route to this other grocery store that I actually loaded up on some of my soy curls and other household items, I actually got 50 grams of cashews. These are herb and spice cashews, dry roasted. So yeah, taking along. And here it is, finally loaded. Okay, and we're back to the screen here. And so I actually did measure my banana as well, unpeeled, and that came out to 85 calories. And that was essentially a pre-workout meal that I got right before going to the gym yesterday for my resistance training. And that, everything after my sort of lunch is 369. Notice I don't eat dinner. I just have a very light. This is an exception. This is a really big exception because I did feel like that on Sunday I didn't really get as much protein as I should have. So I loaded up here, and also didn't have my banana during the morning, so I loaded up a bit there. But yeah, much to my surprise, right? Like I did not, I did not hit what was considered 25, 55, 25, 25. A lot of that was because I did round up quite a few items, and I also think that I was approximating a couple of things as well. I was approximating my definitely my eggplant intake right there. So a couple of things as well, like maybe the kale was approximated as well, but it's so light, right? I mean, it's only 34 calories. I mean, this is, both of these items here, 5 calories. So between 1 and 5 calorie roundups, I guess you can pretty much go from like around this number to about 25, 55 or 25, 25. Anyway, I have the actual number here, so that's 2477. This video will be a bit longer because I am covering, new content here, right? Also, just going over many of the food items for the first time. Obviously, I will not be going over each and every single food item every day. I'll just be doing a light scroll, right? Going over maybe the subtotals, right? Because many of these foods, I eat the same thing pretty much every day. The only exceptions will be like maybe I'll add in a spice, like switch different spices, or maybe on the weekend I'll get a little crazy and I'll add maybe some cucumbers, yellow squash, stuff like that, just to make things a little bit more interesting. But other than that, like, yeah, things really don't, things will not change that often. So, yeah, today's video is just going to be a bit long because I just covered food, right? We're already 12 minutes in. So I'll just go into activities. And we also have to cover weight. That's something I promised to show you guys as well. If you had a chance to review my upload yesterday, I actually did lose some weight since last week. So just going over activity. Oh, that's interesting. Today and yesterday. That is very interesting. Okay, so yeah, yesterday was very interesting. So pretty decent on the steps, right? Didn't do anything crazy there, but exceeded my goal. The floors, 39 floors, very ambitious there. Miles, a little light, but still pretty decent. Didn't meet the 8 mile because obviously the steps were not as ambitious, but okay, calories obviously exceeded there, mostly due to gym day. And just FYI, something that I'm noticing is I'm getting less tired across all activities. I'm not sure if it can be captured here. I'm pretty sure it should, because this is, come on, this is the website, which should provide way more data than the Fitbit app. But I did notice that my resting heart rate has decreased substantially. It used to be like, I want to say like in the mid to high 80s. Now it's closer to the mid 70s. And I noticed, I want to say like around, I want to say Sunday, maybe as early as Saturday, but definitely I noticed on Sunday, and it was very noticeable yesterday, that my typical incline walk that I do in the morning, that I actually ended up doing later on in the evening, right? In fact, it was, I want to say maybe less than 8 or 12 hours before the actual time of this video. But anyway, yeah, I did that, because I missed in the morning, and so I did it in the late evening, and I'm just not sure why, but it just didn't feel as physically taxing. My legs were definitely feeling a bit of a burn, but even then, Um, it probably felt at maybe, I want to say, 75 to 80% as taxing on my legs as it usually is, right? And but in terms of like that feeling that I get when it's like, oh my goodness, like my heart is beating out of my chest kind of thing. Um, I didn't get that. And so just going over to calories burned, right? I want to say, no, I don't think I'm going to find that here. I'm looking for um, heart rate. So that's something I'm thinking about covering as well, but it's probably going to be impossible to cover all this in time. But yeah, I burned quite a few calories here. But yeah, it just didn't feel, I didn't feel that my heart beating out of my chest, right? In fact, I was looking at my Fitbit. I don't think my heart rate got over 160 during this climb, during this incline. And so, yeah, I think I need to go to a much more steep incline. And I actually just, I was walking around my block yesterday just because that's how I usually get, within 1,000 or so steps over 1,500. It's just like, well, I'm at 13,000, so I'll just, take creative routes to get in, a couple of steps. And then I noticed that there's actually a hill that I believe, there's an incline that I believe is pretty steep. And I noticed it was relatively steep because as I was standing on the side and looking at it, I kind of felt myself tilt over, right? Like it was just like, well, I can feel the force of gravity. And this was actually an incline that I did quite some time ago, like before I even started making these videos. It was like, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and I stopped doing it because I would only use it as a way to um, when I was focused only on my calorie goals. It was just like, well, I need to burn 500 calories, and this is something I can do. And I used to do it, but what I want to do is I just want to reconfirm. I want to reconfirm the incline, right? I want to see how many feet elevated uh, on uh, on Google Maps this is going to be. I don't want to give any conclusions or even any guesses in this video. I want to find out for myself, and then obviously, right, in tomorrow's video, I'll cover which one I ended up doing because of which one produced a bigger incline. But right now, the one that I'm doing, it is not giving me that cardio experience. Another thing, which may be a caveat as well, is I I did not take my water jug with me, right? My water jug adds like, I want to say, another 10 pounds. So that was not, so last night I didn't take my backpack with me, but even then, just on Sunday, I definitely did take my backpack with me up that incline, and it just didn't feel as taxing on my heart and on my body as it generally does. Even the gym, during the gym I'll yawn because I'm just getting so tired, right? But I yawned a little bit at the gym, but it was just like, it wasn't much, like it wasn't, I don't recall having a sweaty back or anything like that. It's just over time, I don't know, I guess my conditioning is improving as, indicated by my resting heart rate, which is something I'm thinking about going over here. So let's do that, right? So yeah, I feel really obligated to go over this. So here's the dashboard. And they actually have quite a few cool things here. So I'll just wait for this. Awesome. So here we are. So isn't this a much more cool? Look at this. This dashboard is absolutely amazing, right? Yeah, so it even shows you a percentage of how much I exceeded or met. So I got 8% over my 15,000. Right here, I only reached 88%. Here exceeded by 18%. And so another goal that you guys probably don't see are my active minutes. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but it's basically when you get your heart pumping, right? So usually I aim for 60 minutes there, but I exceeded that by quite a bit with 102 minutes. My floor goals were exceeded by 30%. Cool stuff, right? So my resting heart rate is like 77 yesterday, which makes sense. I'm not entirely sure what this means. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I guess they're gauging what my sleep was, which is interesting because usually this is done. That's really interesting, guys. Wow. Yeah, they're gauging my sleep. I did not. Wow, this is this is really amazing. Usually this is only illustrated when um when you put on your Fitbit. But the thing is, right, is like I guess I did put on my Fitbit around this time yesterday. But yeah, this is interesting. So I guess in a weird way, this is gauging when you're off to bed. I mean, I don't think this is accurate. I mean, obviously it's not going to be as accurate as you wearing it, but this is a really good approximation. I mean, last night I didn't go to bed. It's only be 30 to 45 minutes after 10:47. But this is actually, this is a really good approximation, actually. So you guys are discovering this in real time with me. I thought that this was just a number that was just estimated based on some weird algorithm, but no, this is based on me essentially taking off my Fitbit, because when would you typically take off your Fitbit? When you're going to bed, right? So cool here. And so here's my milestone, right? So it's to reach 200, and so this is basically telling me how many more pounds I have left, which is literally the 55.2 there. So anyway, just going here, look at this really cool thing. I can check when my resting heart rate. So it was as high. It used to be much higher than this. Back in 2020, back in 2022, it used to be like in the high 80s, but it has gone down since then. Yeah, really cool stuff. So it used to be 84. I'm not sure why it's capturing. Oh yeah, this is the high. This is the high. And so 84 now, late February to 75, March 1st, 75. It has gone up a bit to about 77. So this is really good stuff. Look at, guys, I can make my videos from this, right? Isn't this amazing? I get all these amazing indicators, right? My heart rate. Let's move this out of the way here. Look at this. Look at this. This is just amazing, right? Heart rate, over time, cardio, fat burn. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So look at this. Yeah, this is basically telling me, my calories in versus calories out. Really amazing stuff here, right? I get to see. It says I'm under because um, my goal is to get 1,000, so I'm under by a certain amount. But yeah, 2477 versus 4139. You guys do the math. In terms of what my deficit was. So here it is. I can pretty much do this here, right? So if it says left to eat is 662, all I have to do is add 1,000. Super simple. So that was my caloric deficit, right? I had a deficit of 1,662. Okay, yeah. So it looks like I can get an indication here of calories. Let's see. So obviously this is steps, heart rate, which is where we're on right now. It's this. The distance, calories, floors, active minutes. Yeah, I can use this for the bulk of my videos, and it's much more colorful and this is nice parts of the video. Well, I mean, I guess in the beginning of the video, I can just go over the itemized list of things that I ate, and then, for the remainder of the video, I can just come back to this and go over different metrics like my steps and stuff like that. Alright, yeah guys, so it looks like this is a really big update, which is why this video was so long, and yeah, trust me, like, we're definitely going to keep our videos down. It's going to be anywhere between like 6 and 10 minutes, closer to 10 minutes, honestly. But as mentioned in a previous video, the only time that I will go over 10 minutes is if we have if we have something that essentially warrants us going over 10 minutes, which I definitely think this is the case. Anyway, thank you for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it, and that's the end of this video.